got a new condenser fan motor to put on one of these two units. I've been waiting for some other parts for another part of the system, or the new temperature controller, and this took so long to get the bits that I can't remember which one of the two. It's got the bad bearing, so I've got the tanks running to melt a bit of ice, so hopefully one of these will fire up in a minute and we'll see which one it is, but I think it's this one's got a bad bearing in it. I'm not 100% sure. Looking at this is going to be a repeat of that other one where there's not enough room to get the motor off by the look of things. So we'll probably have to undo the bracket, move the motor into the condenser, take the guard off, then take the motor out. I'm 90% sure it's this one. I wrote all the other faults down in the diary, but I didn't write down which one had the duff motor on it, so we'll have to wait and see. And we've got another unit here, press cold, using the fan motor to sit on. So we've got 3 tanks here. Just noticed the crankcase heater is not warm on this one either, so we'll just check it's got power going to it. Here, so that should be heating up, so that heater's failed, so I think I've got one on the van. We'll change that as well. Right, well, shows how good my memory is. I've got this one running and you can hear the bearing on that. It's not very good. I might see if I can get this one to run just to compare the two. Oh, that's unit 2, isn't it? Yeah, tank 2, because that was the fault. That was the one that was faulty when I was called here a few weeks back. Anyway, that needs changing. Right, it's pretty much the same as the last one I did. I've got the motor off, a bit of cardboard in there. I've took the bolt out that holds this pipe in on that bracket, so we've got a bit of movement. Right, I think this is going to need 2 hands. Right, that's the new motor in there. I've put a bit of string on the cardboard so I can fish it out afterwards, because you wouldn't get your hand in to get it otherwise. There's less room on these than there are on the bigger ones. Right, so we'll get the guard in there now. Then we've got to put the cable for the motor. It's got to go through the centre hole. I've got some, I've put it down somewhere. Was it in my pocket? It's in my pocket. Got some thread lock. Just put on the bolts that hold the motor to the guard, because they I think they must put something on them. You can see some sort of powdery stuff there, because they're tight all the way out. Actually, the threads look like they've got something in them. So anyway, we'll put a bit of that stuff on there. Right, I've got it back on. Still got to thread lock these bolts in, and I was just putting the last bolt in down this corner, and the cage nut for that's fallen out. So unless I can move that over enough to get it in there, I'm going to have to take it all apart again. What they should have done with this is just run that liquid line across straight here, then they could have took it down, gone round. Could have come across that way, put the dryer here, and then put the soap glass over there. Or just dropped it down, run it low, then put the dryer and soap glass sticking up here. Pain in the arse. Right, got that nut back in. Fending nut. Must have been me, I might have caught it with a blade or something when I was probably just knocked it out, so I have to be careful I don't do that again. Right, those are all still in place. I've got two bolts just loosely done in there, because I'm going to have to take them out and put the thread lock on when I'm doing them up proper. I can get me a bit of cardboard out, hopefully. So we'll get the guard screwed to the condenser, and then we'll put the two bolts in there properly, take those out, thread lock them and put them back in. Got to put a couple of cable ties in to hold that wire in place. If you put a couple of bends in the cable tie, you can feed it through and back out again. Only 2 amps for this. Just got to wire that in, got to change the wiring because it's got a new type motor. The old one was that one there. We've got a new motor but it's got a different number to that. But anything after, I think it was 2008, let's have the new style motors. So we're going to wire it up as per the new one, see how it goes. And then we're going to got a bag of crankcase heaters up there. We'll see if we've got one that will fit these. I've got a feeling I haven't. I think I've got some of the slightly bigger ones, but I've had a job getting crankcase heaters from the suppliers. So I think there used to be 3 different sizes. I think this is one of the smaller ones, and there was a medium sized one on the sort of 5 and 6 horsepower scrolls. And then the big ZR90s, the 7.5 horsepower ones, used to have a really big piece around them. They don't seem to have them in the book. It's like they've changed the design of the bigger ones. I think they've gone a bit smaller. The old ones, the suction valve used to be up here, and a lot of the new ones, it's right down by the bottom on the bigger ones. So it seems like they're only keeping the new style crankcase heaters in there because they don't have these stainless ones anymore. They're these aluminium bands. Well, that might fit on there. 70 watts. The wattage is the same, I think, on all the smaller ones, so the wattage will be fine. Anyway, we'll get this one done first. Right. Basically, we've got. It's too bright. Let's try a bit with nothing. Live into here, one of the phases, linked up to here, which is number 4, which is number 3, goes to the fan speed control, comes back from the fan speed controls into that red wire, and then that's linked round into number 10, which is the capacitor wire and the black wire from the motor, and then the other capacitor wire goes into 11, and that's on the brown wire, and the blue wire's the neutral, which is fed off the crankcase heater neutral down here. It's linked up to here and then linked with a black wire down to here. It's not quite as that diagram says. This is a single fan unit, and it's like it's wired as the bottom fan of a 2-fan unit if you go by the numbers, but you're better off tracing the wires out because you never know what someone's done before. So that should work. So give that a try, and then we'll see if that crankcase heater fits on there. Right, not to forget, obviously the ground wire, earth wire goes down on that brass stud at the bottom. It's usually stacked 1 or 2 further back, so count how many wires you've took off, so you can count them back on again. Otherwise it's very easy to put them back and leave one off. Probably just going to pump down to fill the airflow. It's got to be blown the right way. It's 1.55, we're on the neutral wire. I'm not sure how many that says that can be. Oh, I can't see it. It's reading 1 point anything anyway, doesn't zero. 1.3 I think it says max, 1.15, 1.3. A lot of these motors now, they're 200 volts to 240, 50-60 hertz, so it's different depending on what you're running them on. Turns out I did have a smaller one in them, and the small one's actually 40 watts and not 70, but that's too small. And then these ones, that's the bigger one, and this is actually 70 watts anyway, so we'll try that on there and see. It's probably it's about the right size, isn't it, when you follow how far the heater is. Yeah, so we get that put on there. One thing I would say is when you put them on, there's a seam down the compressor where it's welded. There's quite a bump, and I usually try and avoid the heater going over that, because you end up with a bit where the heater's not touching the body. And I've had these where I've put them on and like a few weeks later they burn out, and it's where the heater's just floating either side of that weld, and it can't get rid of the heat and cooks itself. So even if you end up having the thing sit around further, so you've got just the dead bit like that expanding is where the bump is. That's how I tend to fit them, although they don't come from the factory like that. But I've had about twice I've had them burn out, and that's what I think it is. And you could actually see the stainless has got a sort of straw colour where that bump was, so it just looked like it got too hot in that area. So I've got that on there. I might move it around a bit more in a minute, but that's nearly where I want it. Also, there's a couple of blobs either side where they weld the cradle in, where the bottom bearing sits, and you don't want the heater sat on those either. I've got it. It's the actual heater element finishes a few inches before the end of that strip, but I still might move it around a bit more. I'm going to get the wires fed down this sleeving first. It's always a bit tight there where the cable gland was done up, so I've used the old earth wire as a draw wire, and I've got some cable pulling lube, so we'll put a bit of that on there and hopefully it will slide through a bit easier. Okay, that's just pumped down. We've got that running for half an hour just to check it. Got the new crankcase heater on there. That's warming up now. It should be like 30 seconds from powering up. It should be too hot to touch. And we've got that joint past the bumping where that weld is. Right, so that's that done. Put the lid back on there, and then we've got a thermostat to change. Right, well, we're having some fun here. Done the crankcase here on this one and run it up, and it was obvious this was the one with the bad bearing in it. This one's got a bad bearing in it as well, but it's not as bad as what this one was. And I initially thought in my head I was thinking it was this one, but when I run that one up I thought no, it's got to be that one. Anyway, so we've put the original motor back on there, and we've took the new one off of there and put it on here, because I think this one does a lot more hours. This is their main tank, that one I think is a backup, and then they've got a third one which is like an overflow, or if it's snowing or something. So yeah, that's a waste of an hour. I should have run the two of them up and see what they both sounded like, but yeah, that one don't sound long for the world either. The other one, I'll put it back in the gun and spin it. You can actually hear that one ticking if you spin it by hand, whereas this one didn't sound too bad when I spun it by hand once I took it off. So I dare say another year or so we'll be doing that one, if that. Right, anyway, so that one runs. We'll have to check this one runs, and then get on with our thermostat change. Right, that's that one running with the new motor. I don't know if you'll hear this over the noise that one's making.